Hey there, Tall Man Clan. Welcome to the show. If you are new to our channel, I am Robert, a.k.a. The Tall Man. This is my lovely wife, Lisa, a.k.a. Mrs. Tall Man. Not that anyone ever calls her that.
Never.
Never. Anywhere. But I do here on the show. Anyway, welcome to the show. We are coming to you live this very evening from the frozen north. We are up in Buffalo, New York. Yes, we are not currently on a cruise ship, but we do have balcony cam for you guys. We could not start a show without balcony cam. It is definitely not cold there. I promise you that. So I hope everybody had their popcorn and is ready to go. Let's say hello to everybody. Hello, Mamie from New Mexico, Mamie Radar. Good to see you as well. Danny Mac, bonus live. Yeah, no, it's news time, right? Kelly, hello, Kelly from Boston. We are not that far from you. I called it the frozen north. It snowed here yesterday. I had a video of the truck in the snow. Chris, what's up, buddy? Hey now. Danny Mac playing a little bit of music. Macrina says, hello there, TMC family. Again, welcome to all the Tall Man Clan. Michael, I'm not sure we've seen you here before. Welcome from Tulsa, Oklahoma, or to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And Macrina, have popcorn will travel. That is right. And of course, we've got the balcony cam. And last but not least, at least for the moment, let's say hello to Bev. Thank you, everybody. If I missed you, it is not on purpose. God bless you all. We appreciate every single one of you being here with us tonight. We have, we just
and
real
thanks
quick.
for all the thumbs up, guys.
Yeah, thumbs up. Here we go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. If you haven't by now known, we have a Facebook channel too, Facebook group. Come on and join the Facebook group. We put all different kind of content up there that we do different than we broadcast live or do whatever. So anyway, without further ado, should we get to the latest news?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. How can we not?
All right, let's get to the latest news, everybody.
Here's the latest cruise news with your host, the Tall Man.
Well, hey there, everybody. I'm sure, as you all know, most of you, I'm sure, watch Ben and David. If not, you at least watch Tony from La Lita Loca. Mm-hmm. And Ben and David were just recently on an MSC cruise. They were on the MSC World Europa, I think it was.
Yes.
And they ran into some trouble. And I won't go over the whole 9 yards, but they were on a 7-day cruise. They had a cabin which they paid for themselves.
Yep.
They were up in the yacht club, which we have been trying to get into, but they booked into it, so they were up there. And they got shut off.
They certainly did.
They got told to put their camera away.
Yes, they did.
And I mean, like, everything. You can't video on your phone. You can't video on your camera.
You can't take a picture of yourself. Nothing.
Nothing. Censored.
Yeah.
And it was quite shocking to them. They made a big video about it. They were in the middle of reviewing MSC. They hadn't been on MSC for 3 years. Their last time they were on MSC, they also ran into some problems. And so they vowed never to go back again. And it's, wow, it's been 3 years. Let's go back. Let's try it. And so they did, and yet again ran into some problems. I watched Tony's video. I watched their video. I watched a few other things, and we're
stunned.
We're stunned, really.
Yeah.
Censorship by the cruise lines, right?
Yeah.
They absolutely forbid them to video anymore. As well as I mentioned, even on their phones. Mm-hmm. Now, during their video, they talk about, look, the ship is their property. They have the right to say what goes and what doesn't go on their property, if you will. There are rules and regulations that you abide by. Now, one of the things I did before the stream, I spent about an hour looking through all of the fine print on their website, on their tickets, on their
MSC.
On MSC.
Yes.
On their passenger contracts. I mean, all of these things. Nowhere in there does it say anything about not videoing, not doing anything. And like us, they take a lot of precautions to get no one in the video or as few people as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
we do a lot of our video like in the middle of the night when people
3
are
o'clock in
sleeping.
the morning. Yeah.
Just to make sure we're not running into that.
Yeah.
And so they are very careful about how they video. And look, their channel's very successful. I'm sure you all know them. They got 250 something thousand subscribers. They're not a small channel, and they have a lot of influence in the industry. And for them to, like, in the middle of the cruise, they were on their 4th day and literally shut them off. It was so bad, they actually decided to leave the ship.
Yeah.
So where does this go, everybody? Right? Where does this leave people like us, right? I mean, Ben and David aren't the only 2 people who go on ships and video them. I mean,
no, there's a bunch of us out there that do that.
Yeah, from small channels to large channels.
Yeah.
And there's the folks like you that are watching right now that watch this content to make your decisions
Yes.
about whether or not you're going to book with a cruise line.
Yes, or a ship
or a ship.
Yeah.
Now, are all the content creators out there, are they as conscious of other passengers as we might be, or as Ben and David are? No, we've seen it ourselves.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know what to say, guys. I mean, we are literally shocked. And shocked in a different way, because we've already told you we just got off the seashore. I mean, y'all were with us. We did a back-to-back. It was a 4-day, 3-day. Had a great time. This was our 2nd ship we were on. We had a fantastic time. We had a fantastic time on the first one. We had a fantastic time on the second one. And we were so happy. We booked a third one.
Yeah.
In fact, and we were going to announce it here during the other show that we were going to do today, which I canceled so we could talk about this. We actually moved the cruise up, and we are going right after the Carnival Firenze.
Yeah.
We're going to be going on the Seascape out of Miami. And now we're like,
we're in a quandary.
now what?
Yeah. Does that apply to us? Are we going to be able to video? Are we going to get shut down?
Yeah. I mean, Tony made a comment in his video.
Yeah.
He had just been on the seashore, the seaside, forget which one. I think it was the seashore.
Yeah.
And he videoed pretty extensively. And I mean, there's tons of videos out there, guys. I mean, if you search there, I mean, there's hundreds of videos out there. Where is the line to be drawn? And so Lisa and I have gone back and forth all day long talking about this, trying to figure things out. And here's the only thing that we can figure out. First and foremost, whatever the scenario was, MSC absolutely handled this wrong.
Yeah, they did. Totally. Totally.
Because what I feel happened, because this was their 4th day.
Yeah.
They had been videoing all around the ship. And so this is what we believe based upon our experience on the ships. That yacht club is a very, very, very exclusive area.
Yes, it is.
They would not even let us in to video the common areas.
Correct.
Never mind cabins.
Correct.
I mean, it is under such lock and key that they are very, very, very specific about this. So there's one. Now I want to go back with Ben and David. Okay, Ben and David are on an influencer list with MSC. They talk about in their video. They show an email that they had recently gotten about going on a cruise that MSC was going to pay for them to go so they could check out the yacht club and blah, 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 blah. So I don't feel that this is directly against them. If they were blackballed because of their first experience 3 years ago, they wouldn't be on the list.
I agree.
Right? They would have shut them down. So it has to have been something else, right? And so they had spent the first few days, I believe, videoing extensively the public areas, if you will, of the ship. But then they decided to video more of the yacht club, the dining areas of the yacht club and stuff.
Yes.
Well, and even though they're being careful, they still got a camera. Now, I know they think their camera is small, but compared to, like we use our iPhone, it's tiny. They've got a camera on a pretty large gimbal. I mean, when I hold my gimbal with my hands, if I wrap my hands like he had his hands on his, you see, you can barely see the bottom. Okay. If you go back and you watch their video, there's like that much of their gimbal showing at the bottom. Plus it's it's not a broadcast camera by any sense of the imagination.
It's not, but it is larger than a cell phone.
Correct.
And it's obviously a camera that it's more of a professional thing than ours looks, with our cell
with
phone.
our cell phones, right? And so what we feel probably had happened is somebody in the yacht club area said something to management, and maybe a couple of people, I don't know, and we're guessing, we have no idea.
We really don't.
But there are people videoing on their ship all the time with their cell phones, with GoPros, even with some other cameras, but maybe not on a big, huge rig. Again, not that it was gigantic. It's, again, not a broadcast camera, but just a big enough to be obtrusive. And then doing it in the yacht club, my guess is probably one of the people up there complained.
And we saw one of the videos that they had posted, and they are in the dining room, and you can the images are blurred. But
the camera's focused here,
the camera's
but behind
on them.
are people that, and they're blurred. They're blurry because of the way the cameras work, right? And so you can't see them. You can't see any features about them. You couldn't pick them out
who it is.
Ever.
But it's clearly couples. There's two couples that are back there, and I suspect, and they have the camera literally focused on them, and you can
see the people behind.
If people are dining behind them, they may feel intimidated, and worried that the camera's going to pick them up, and not knowing that the visions are blurred, the images are blurred. I suspect that that's probably where it happened. I mean, that's my gut feeling.
Yeah.
We really don't know, but that's my gut feeling.
Nothing else makes sense. And I know you guys are getting a bunch of comments in there, and we'll get to all your comments because we want to include you in this conversation, which is why we canceled the show we were going to do, so we could have this conversation with you folks live here tonight. But it just, I don't feel they're being specifically singled out.
I agree.
I know they may feel they were because they had a bad experience the last time.
Yes.
They're now having a bad experience, or had a bad experience in this time. But they wouldn't have been invited back if they were being blackballed or whatever.
I agree.
And they had put a video out the week before, or where they were doing, where it was a glowing review. I mean, they gave them a 5. I mean, the entertainment, it could probably do a little better in entertainment.
Which we've talked about that ourselves.
Right. But food's great. The service has been great. I mean, value for dollars. They gave it 5 stars. I mean, they were giving them a glowing review in the previous video. And then, of course, they put out this other video yesterday. So it just doesn't make sense other than somebody making a complaint from the yacht club area, since it's such an exclusive area to the ship. These people have paid a lot of money, and so did Ben and David for that matter. And my guess is that started a ripple effect. Now, as I started this conversation, from this moment on, MSC handled this situation completely wrong.
Yeah, poorly.
First of all, they should have explained to them why they were being asked to turn the camera off.
Yes.
And if it was just a yacht club thing, again, we're making some assumptions at this point that they say, hey, you can video everywhere else, but you can't video here. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because again, they made a comment about people videoing all over the ship.
Yes.
Right? So, I mean, to even tell them they couldn't video on their cell phones.
I know. Or take pictures.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, which is ultimately, I would have left the ship too.
I would
just
too.
like they did.
Yeah.
So it is truly, truly shocking.
It is.
What's more shocking, I think, to me, deep down is, how far is this going to go? What's going to happen when we get on this ship?
Mm-hmm.
The cruise industry, respectfully, is a small industry, and everybody copies one another. What happens on other cruise lines? Are we all going to be censored?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do these people not realize how many millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of views happen on videos that are made by content creators about the ships?
Mm-hmm.
It's free advertising for them.
Yeah, and just like us, I mean, you guys are family, and you watch us because you trust us,
Right.
and you trust, what we're telling you, and we give you our opinions and say, listen, this is just our opinion. It's subjective. Maybe some people might like this, we don't, and this is why we don't like it.
Like
But
them, I didn't agree with their assessment of the food. We love their food.
yeah,
They were, their food was better.
they gave him a 3 in the food, and
yeah.
I definitely think
Yeah,
it's at least a
way better.
4. but
Anyway.
but it's family, and they have how many subscribers?
250 something thousand the last time I looked.
All right, so 250 family members that are going to take their side.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And we
And then
started
some.
looking
And-
at some of the comments, and people are like, I canceled my cruise on MSC. I'm never going to sail on MSC again. And here's 250,000 people, and somebody made the comment, which is very true, that if you have a good experience, you're going to tell a couple of people, but if you have a bad experience, you're going to tell 10 people. So here's now 250,000 people that are going to go out and tell 10 people. And it's just, we're already seeing the comments of people who have said that they're canceling their MSC cruises.
When I watched the video was just released yesterday.
Yeah.
When I watched it for the 6th time today, they had 187,000 views in this video.
Yeah.
There was about 4,100 comments at the time. There wasn't one positive comment. It was all, we're never going, we're canceling, we canceled,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. And so the ripple effect is
It's crazy.
going to be ongoing, I think, for quite a while.
I agree. And even though they said literally, this is
Pause. EM74, they were on the MSC World Europa. It was a European tour. They got on in France. I don't know where they were ending, but I think it was just 7 days for them. With MSC doing the European cruises, the ports, it's very port intensive. You can start your cruise almost anywhere. It's not like here in the U.S. where you get on in say, Port Canaveral, and then 7 days later you get off in Port Canaveral. On their ship, they got on in France. The next day, I think they were in Italy. There were people getting on in Italy and people getting off in Italy. The next day, they were somewhere else, people getting on and getting off.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different there in Europe. But it was the MSC World Europa that they were on in Europe. And I think it was late February when they actually took the cruise. And they just put out the video here yesterday. So sorry. And I know there's a lot of comments. We're going to get to them all. But I just saw that you popped that up a couple times. And I didn't want you to be left in the dark. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I have the attention span of Dory from Finding Nemo. Gone. Couldn't tell you what I was saying. What were we talking about?
I don't know. Why are we here? Who are you? It's the Mad Cow.
I at least know that. But yeah, I don't remember what I was saying.
It's
Oh, yeah, I do. What I was saying was, even though Ben and David have said, listen, we had a great experience, and they still gave them glowing reviews.
they did, actually.
I mean,
Surprisingly,
they
if you will.
did.
Look, if you're not a content creator and you want to go on MSC, you're gonna have a fantastic time.
Yeah.
Right, for the dollars, for your money right now. I mean, it's like the cruise that we ended up booking. We're going in 50 days. It costs $500 for a balcony.
Yeah.
For a 7-day cruise.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Right, and the food is good, and the entertainment's good, and the shit. I mean,
Best
it's
value
great.
out there.
And,
Yeah.
and essentially, that's, even though what happened to them, they still said, guys, we would go again if not for this.
They did. Yeah.
Yeah.
They said, yeah, the experience for the value for, the money that you pay is amazing. But what I was saying was, even though they have said, you gave them great reviews, even during all of this, they're still getting, it's the family members that are canceling because of what happened to them.
Well, to your point, I mean, it's loyal family.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yes.
somebody did something wrong to their family member.
Yes. And
They're
we take
canceling.
up for our
That's
families.
Right. That's
yeah.
right. Absolutely.
Mhm.
So and I feel like I said, there's going to be a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Not just for MSC, but what's going to happen on the rest of the lines.
Yeah.
Right? Are they going to be, more specific and more paid attention? You're walking around with, like I said, I feel, again, our rig is probably half the size of this, but it is a gimbal, right?
Mhm.
And sorry, I'll turn it on when I have it on. Now, we don't go in anybody's faces, and we just walk around, and it's usually, come on, turn. There we go. It's usually, I hold it down here a lot. Obviously, you don't see how I'm doing it, but when I'm actually doing it for real. But normally it's down here in my chest, and when I'm walking, I have a lapel mic on. Sometimes we've started to do more lapel mics because the ambient mic picks up a little bit more sometimes, and we walk around, and when I'm turning, the camera goes with me, and we try to keep it as low key as possible for what we're doing. We don't go up and put it in people's face. We don't do any of these kind of things. I'll give you a perfect example. When we were on the gangway, we were doing a time lapse of getting on the seashore, which took like forever because of whatever was going on. Okay. And in front of us was a family with a little child. And the little child was just turning around making faces at me the whole time. It was hysterical. And I said to them, of course, you can hear because it was a time lapse and there's no audio. I said, hey, this camera is on. We're doing a time lapse. Are you okay with this? And they said, oh, no, it's not fine. It's great. It's great. So we gave them the name of the channel. You can see yourself getting on the ship, right? And so we like Ben and David, and many out there are very, very conscious about the people that we do catch. Now, can we tell everybody that's in there they're going to be? No. But guess what? Everyone's got a cell phone in their pocket or a camera, and they're videoing. And there's people in all of these videos. Yeah. Are they all being put up like content like we put up, or Tony or others or whoever, Don or Jay from Ship Life or whatever? No. But even small creators, there's a lot of people that are just there for a family cruise, and they have a Facebook page, and or even a small YouTube channel with a couple hundred subscribers, because it's just a family thing, if you will. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, the YouTube algorithm picks it up, and all of a sudden they get 1 million views.
Yeah.
Right?
It happens.
It happens. And so where are the cruise lines going to go with this? Now, I know it started on MSC, but I really feel that there's a potential that it ripples and more regulations and requirements. So by the way, I saw a comment flash by a few minutes ago, and I know a lot of you have been writing comments, and we will read through them all in a minute. If you do have a question, please put Q in there so it allows me to search Q for a question. But anyway, they weren't told anything by anybody other than stop filming.
Yeah. Can't
use your phone, can't take pictures, you can't do anything. And it was a succession of people. It wasn't one person. So it just was sort of a ripple effect. And then also the attitudes of all these people changed. They had been nothing but wonderful and bright and sunshine, and it's great. And then all of a sudden they were the devils or something. Okay. After the fact. And you can go watch their video. I didn't put it, the link in the description. I will after the stream is over. I'll go get it and I'll put it in there. But you guys just search. I'm sure you're all subscribed to Ben and David already. Okay. And if you haven't watched the video, please do. At the end of the video, they did mention getting a response from MSC. So let me back up again. They are on a list for influencers. We are on the same list. We were, oddly enough, we were just added this morning. Because we had been emailing them about the cruise that we're about to now do, which we're now freaked out about. Because we paid a lot of money. I don't have 250-something thousand subscribers. Not yet. I'm sure it's going to go up today. Thank you all. We appreciate you, right?
Yes,
hit the subscribe button. Become part of the Tall Man Clan, right? We love you guys. We need a lot of help if you haven't figured it out yet. But anyway, but these videos stay up there a long time, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
And anyway, so, but we sent they have an email for media and influencers, and we sent them an email a few weeks ago, and we got a response back literally this morning. I read it just before we watched Ben and David's. I'm like, man, are they going to have a busy day today?
Yeah.
So, so we're on that same list. So what they did when they got off the cruise, they emailed the person back and said, hey, you invited us. What's going on here? Now, they were not on the cruise that they had been invited on. This was a different one that they paid for themselves. But it didn't matter. They had been invited, right? So we still love you. Come back. You're invited. Okay, great. So, but they decided to go on their own time, own dime, booked into the yacht club. They paid about, I don't know, $5,000, a little over $5,000. And so they emailed them. And the response back was, in my opinion, it wasn't horrible. It was just sort of a B-flat sort of corporate response that, media has to be, I can't even remember all the words. Go watch the video.
There was no, I'll look into it further. I apologize, or nothing like that.
It was a stock corporate sort of
It
response
was.
for a media company.
Yeah.
Right? When you're going around with your cameras, you need to be escorted and blah, 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 blah. And we're like, well, we're not. I mean, they're influencers, but they're not media. Again, yes, their camera rig was bigger than mine, bigger than I think he thinks it might be, but it's not these big, broadcast huge cameras. It's a 35 millimeter on a decent sized gimbal.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. So I don't know, guys. We're supposed to be now on the seascape here in April. We actually decided to do a back-to-back. Again, I'm not kidding. It was like $500
we
for
literally,
balcony.
we were literally going to come this week and tell you guys that, hey, come join us. We're
now
gonna...
like, I don't know.
He's like, do we cancel?
Yeah, well, we can't cancel. We've paid in full.
Yeah. And so we're just kind of, on edge here because we don't know if we're going to get shut down. It's just kind of an interesting situation we find ourselves in.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, we're trying to get a full story from one side.
Yeah.
Right? We don't know the other side. Not that we'll ever know the other side, or anyone will ever know the other side for that matter. But based upon things that we know, influencers go on cruise ships all the time, not just MSC, but other cruise lines. They video. Some are in your face, some are not in your face. Some are feel entitled, some don't feel. There's the whole range in the community. Some make it a little tougher than for others. But the reality is, we feel after like going around and around and around, it was something to do with something they did within the yacht club that upset one of the yacht club, the other yacht club patrons.
Yeah. That's my gut
shouldn't have
feeling.
the camera on. We pay good money to have this private area, this ship within a ship.
And they are very, very secretive and very protective of the yacht club, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And
it's like Fort Knox, man.
It is. It really is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's get to a few of your comments because they've been whipping through here.
Yes.
And I just want to, make sure that we include you in part of the conversation, which is why we do this live. And maybe we'll start off with Danny Mack says the Interstate 44 corridor is well represented tonight. Yes, it is. Mamie says, and they were giving a good review. Yeah, they were.
Yes.
Absolutely, they were giving them a good review.
Even after all of this, it was still a good review.
In the end, as I mentioned, as a paying passenger, they gave it a good review. As a content creator, they're like, this is garbage.
Yeah.
And said why.
As they should.
Macrina says, felt bad for Ben and David. They respect others and are secret. Mac lost a great review. MSC is what I'm assuming what you meant to say. And would have been even better if they were not banned.
Yes.
Well, and so this has gone like 180 degrees the other way.
Yeah.
They were in the midst of getting a great review. In fact, they already had gotten a great review. Again, this was the second video on the ship. The first video they put out was really about all the public spaces. The one they were in the process of videoing when they got shut off was about the yacht club area. And so they still showed all that footage if you haven't seen it yet. So, it's an hour-long video. Mm-hmm. And the first 40 minutes of it is like, this
glowing
is
reviews.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then, take your cameras. Anyway.
Yeah.
Only the yacht club or the entire ship. Well, the way it was described, they were banned from filming anywhere at that point.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I said.
To include themselves.
Yeah.
You
can't use your phone, can't take a picture.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, in the end, MSC handled this wrong, in our opinion. Again, we don't know their side of the story, but I'm sure they were protecting the rights of the other passengers who, again, we believe, in our opinion, some people were complaining. So what it should have been.
Which they are within their right to do that, but they just completely handled it poorly.
We feel it should have been, you guys got to stop videoing in the yacht club.
Yeah. I think that would have been sufficient.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
That's my gut feeling.
Look, man, there's closed captioning, CCTV cameras all over ships.
Mm-hmm.
they watch us walk around all the time. I'm sure they do.
Oh, they have to.
I mean, a lot of
They
the times
have
we're
to.
doing it, we're in the middle of the night. There's no one up on the ship. Very rarely. I mean, sometimes. Like when we were on the Royal Caribbean ship on the Symphony of the Seas. I couldn't believe how many people were still awake when we were.
The Carnival Jubilee at Christmas time too.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that was crazy.
We're walking around videoing, and again, we're as low key as we can about it. But I'm sure they're watching. But again, my guess is they should have just been banned from filming in
the yacht club.
In the yacht club, other than maybe some for predetermined or specific times.
And that's another thing too, predetermined and specific. We also talked earlier about how the invitation we feel was probably going to be for a certain day and certain times, and you can do this and you can't do that. And so being on their own dime, they didn't take any precautions.
Yeah.
And I feel that that's a big part of it as well.
I mean, we had talked to you guys when we were on the seashore. We had gone to them to see if we could video the yacht club in between the two cruises because we were on a back-to-back. And there's about let's just call it a 45-minute time frame when there is no one on the ship except for the staff and the back-to-backers. So that is a perfect opportunity to go into these other spaces, like we go into the spa.
Yes.
We typically will go into the kids' areas
yes.
when there's no one around.
Mm-hmm.
And so in this particular case for the yacht club, it being such a private area, we asked to have access during that time.
Yes.
So we're not in anybody's way, and we're not, potentially getting anybody in a camera. So, and again, just denied, declined.
No, you cannot.
It was funny. He got on the phone. He's like, no, I understand. Yep, no, yes. So, no.
And it went pretty much like that.
Though they did say if someone hadn't checked in,
yes,
they would allow us to video that
particular
cabin,
suite.
That suite that they hadn't checked in at.
Yes.
And to check back.
Mm-hmm. But there were no cancellations.
Right. So we did. We checked back when they asked us to. And he's like, no, we're so sorry. Everybody did check in. But, so that's why we feel it had to have been a complaint from other passengers because everybody was nothing but as accommodating as they could be when we approached and addressed them, if you will. Anyway, moving on.
Agreed.
Macrina says, well, freedom of speech isn't just for U.S. citizens. It's sad. No, I agree. Or he's like, wow. Chris H. says, that's the $1 million question, Danny Mac.
Mm-hmm.
Danny Mac says, it starts with a scathing review video and gets all 150K subs to share on all social media platforms. Yeah, I'm telling you, there's going to be a ripple that is going to continue.
I believe it too. I totally believe it.
Look, MSC is a large corporation. They're the only company that is solvent, right? Their parent company is a shipping company. They ship containers across the ocean. All right. It's the only cruise line.
They didn't lose money during COVID like everybody else did.
They gained money.
Yes.
Right. So they're not going to go anywhere. No. But I bet you their prices are going to come down.
I would totally agree. They need to do some serious damage control, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tuesday, welcome everybody. Welcome Tuesday. Chris says, I suspect someone in the yacht club complained about it.
Yes.
Exactly. That's what we feel too, right?
Totally feel
Macrina
that.
says, it seems to be how big the blogger followers are. If you're small potatoes, MSC didn't care. That could possibly be. But again, Macrina, I get back to that. They're on an influencers list, and they had been invited to go on a cruise. Like right now, I think it was leaving like March 8th or 9th, so a couple of days ago. And stay in the yacht club.
Mm-hmm.
They actually invited them to go on a ship and stay in the yacht club so they could video this exclusive sort of new thing that they're offering because the yacht club area is relatively new. They've had it for a little bit of time now, but the older ships don't have them. Only the new ships do. And so they literally invited them. Here's a cabin. They were going to give them a cabin and come and do this. But my guess also is, like Lisa said, they would have given them some specific times to capture the video to not be in the way of the other paying passengers.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Danny says, we have used your Jubilee videos to show potential cruisers the ships. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's part of the point, right? Is that where they're working, ultimately, which is why they lift the ship. This is not a vacation for them. This is work. Do they have a good time? Yes. It's like us. Do we have a great time? We have a great time.
Absolutely.
It's a cruise ship. We're having a great time.
But it is working.
We're there working.
Yeah, it is a working trip.
This is not vacation for us.
Mm-hmm.
So we booked the back-to-back on the one that's coming up. So we may video or come live every single night. Of course, if they let us. They will. I mean, we do it from our account. Anyway, I'm not too worried, but I'm worried. But we did the back-to-back so we could have some more us time. Doesn't take us 2 weeks to get a ship. It only takes us 1 week.
So we get to play 1 week.
So we're going to have some fun. But we're going to bring you along too, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, Bev says, I would like to hear what MSC has to say. It's definitely odd on day 4.
Yes.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
In the response that they got from corporate, it was a sort of corporate response that, media that, needs to be announced and, everybody needs to know about it and they have to have a chaperone or whatever it was. I forget the exact wording. Again, please, please, please go watch their video and get the actual real words from them. But they did get a response. It wasn't from the ship, from corporate. And so in the end, no one knows except for Ben and David and the 5, 6, 7, 8-ish
managers
or whatever that happen to be involved in all of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, welcome EM74. Well, we're in New York right now too.
Oh, nice.
Danny says, I'm going to guess one of the MSC entitled guests got butt hurt, and that's why.
Yeah.
You know what? That is the only thing that makes sense. I think that's where we are.
Yes.
You're on the seaside next April. Yeah, we were on the seaside in November last year. We loved it.
Yeah.
We had a fantastic time. We had such a good time. We booked the seashore, which we just got off of. Had a fantastic time there again. Even though we're not 3 and 4 day cruises, we still had a great time.
Yeah.
And we booked the Seascape for November, and we saw they were running a sale, so we moved it up to April and booked it back to back. So, MSC for us has been rising on our list of favorite cruise lines.
Yeah.
We're
stunned.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen? Really, right? Tony talked about it today. Of course, Ben and David talked about it. There's over 500,000 people that subscribed to those 2 channels. Okay. Obviously, we don't have 500,000 people, but the videos get up there and they get watched by more than their subscribers. My guess is that video is going to get over 1 million views.
Oh, I would. Yeah,
if not
agree.
more.
Totally agree.
Right. And so.
Oh, that thing's going to get shared everywhere.
Yeah. And I just, man, I don't. And now, okay. So now here's the big question. Well, you know what? Hold on to the big question. The big question really is, how do we recover? But I want to answer some more of your questions or get to more of your comments. I don't believe the management told them why. You're correct. No one told them why on the ship. They just told them, stop. And they didn't kick them off the ship. Ben and David left on their own because, again, they were there for work, and it would have been weird hanging out there for 3 days after the treatment that they had gotten.
Well, not only that, but all the people in the concierge and their butler and everybody else that had been so wonderful to them to begin with is now all of a sudden
changed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They all
didn't want
changed.
anything. Yeah, completely changed.
Does MSC book guests that are hiding out from the law? Well, look. They may not be hiding from the law, but I'm throwing this out there as, what if Billy Bob takes his mistress on a cruise?
That's probably more likely because, it has to go through
Tells
Homeland Security.
Mrs. Billy Bob that he's, at the work conference in Tulsa, and instead he ends up, in Europe on the ship.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'm just guessing, creating a scenario. Billy Bob, don't be mad.
Stop telling on Billy Bob.
Bev, the Elite. I watched some of their videos and decided I'm not yacht club material plus 5,000 for a 7-day cruise. Bev, you're right. It's not an area for everyone.
Mhm.
Would we like to experience it once? Yeah, we'd like to experience it once to
Bring it to
experience
you
it for
guys.
you guys
Yeah.
and our opinion of it.
Yeah.
Their cabin looked great. It looked like a regular balcony cabin, just wider.
Mhm.
It didn't, in their words too. They've been in other suites that were much more posh. Look, we go cabin crawling for you guys, and we've said the same thing about their suites. Their suites are nice, but we've seen nicer suites. These aren't bad. I think my biggest complaint, being a tall guy, I'm just a little surprised that the bathrooms in the suites are they're not a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I would agree.
No, it's just me.
Yeah.
It's my opinion. Dude, I'm a big guy. Not everybody's my size. Y'all come in, and I'm fine in it. It's just I was expecting it to be a little bigger. Anyway, Chris says, perhaps just let them know that other guests would prefer them not to record in certain areas. In the club example, right? Record in the vlog in certain parts of Club 33. Exactly.
Yeah.
Just, you guys, not here. This is, or you can do it from 1 to 2.
Right? And all they really had to do, they could have pulled them aside and said, "Listen, guys, you really can't do this. You're welcome to stay and have fun, and and not change their attitude towards them."
Correct.
And I think that's the
It got
biggest
very
part.
dark
It
very
did.
quick.
They got nasty.
Yeah.
And had they not gone there, they probably would have stayed on the ship and just had a good time and just not videoed the rest. But if the people that are taking care of you, if their attitude changes toward you,
You're right.
you don't want to be there. I wouldn't
Right.
want to be there.
No, we had again talked about this round and round all day. That's why we decided to cancel what we were going to do and come here and talk about this. Danny says, I'm not yacht club material either, he says, but I do love a challenge to annoy people. I might need to book an MSC. Hey, let's go together. Come on with us. Do we know? Yeah, we've already answered that one. They were on the MSC World Europa.
Yes.
Every cruise I have been on, we are asked to approve the cruise line's video and photography policy in line, blah, 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 blah. Exactly. Now, by the way, Macrina, that is why I spent
an hour at least.
It was at least an hour, like literally reading all the fine, tiny little print. There's nothing in documentation that I have received from the past cruises, like my cruise contract and all this stuff. There's nothing on their website that has any of this, other than we have CCT going, and you're going to be on it, and we do it for your safety, because, right? But nothing about, Ben and David and Robert and Lisa and Tony, his wife, and Jay and the rest of the people. But again, everyone has a camera on their phone. Well, not everybody. We know some people with flip phones. But other than them, and people are capturing their vacations. If a ship holds 6,000 people, 5,500 of them are shooting something with a phone.
Yeah,
I would have to guess.
I would agree.
At least.
Yeah.
And I promise you, they're not just getting themselves standing against a blank wall.
Yeah.
They're getting people in the background. It is what it is on a cruise ship. Now, I do feel it is how you go about it. Right? Are you going into people's faces? Are you doing it in the most busy time of the day? Different things like that. This is why we schedule, when we do things, to do it. We video the ship when it's a port day and everyone's off ship. A lot of times, some of you people are here watching. You're like, when did you video this? Or, there's no one on the ship. We wait till everyone gets off, so there's no one on the ship.
And that reminds me, you remember pre-COVID, we went on the celebrity ship and we did that scavenger hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Remember they had us go video or take a picture of somebody asleep on a beach chair?
Yes.
That was part of our scavenger hunt. Go take pictures of people. That was from the cruise line. Sorry, I just had to throw that out there. It just clicked.
Tindy's like, Europe. There's a problem. Yeah. Someone at MSC might have overreacted, but you think that MSC management would have responded by now and explained why. Once again, Antonio, yeah, there was a response. I don't think it was
personalized. It was a stock.
I think it was, just, when we have media go on board, these are the requirements. And that was sort of the response. And so we're going to come back to this question in just a second. MSC has been nicknamed the Mafia Shipping Company. Not by me, but others. I've seen a few other names too today, Macrina.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Hi, Emily. Welcome. Thanks for answering. You're welcome. You're sailing out of Miami on the seaside. Excellent. We did the seaside when it was in Port Canaveral. We just did the seashore out of the Port Canaveral, and we're doing the seascape in April out of Miami.
Yes.
We're going to be on it for 14 days.
Yeah.
Come and join us. We're going to have a blast.
Yeah.
We'll tell you the dates here in a minute. EM says, no, Dory. And then Macrina, squirrel. And I didn't tell you, Danny put up the squirrel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he put up the squirrel.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. And Antonia says, Macrina, that's what I was thinking. But I think they would have asked for their footage if it was mob related. The mob wouldn't have asked. They just would have taken it. And tonight you're going to swim with the fishes.
We'll
Kiss
just...
the ring. Kiss the ring.
You have the ring.
I do. I bought a ring called the consigliere. Years ago. Got some bling. It's actually, as far as that goes, bling goes, it's kind of a smaller ring. It's not that big. But it's actually got a name. It's called the consigliere. We'll have to wear it on a ship, and I'll show you one night.
Yeah.
My family. What have I done to deserve this disrespect? I don't know. Anyway, do feel bad for the content creators and our freedoms. However, MSC isn't concerned with losing passengers. They are the worst large shipping company.
World's
largest shipping company. When it comes to shipping, not cruise. Well, I guess if you add it all up, probably, yeah.
Yeah, because they've got just as many cruise ships out there.
There's a couple
Carnival
less. There's one or two
Royal?
less.
Is it one or two
Yeah,
less?
I think Carnival and Royal Nav like 24, 25, and they have like 23.
Yeah.
I mean, they're right there. I mean, they're like a third when it comes to cruise ships, right? Angela's like, yes, already subscribed and saw the video early today. Yeah. You must be talking about Ben and David. Yeah.
Yes.
Tall Man Clan. Woo. Yes, LOL. That's because they had an opening now.
That must be talking about they didn't go on the invitation cruise, but they went on their own cruise. That's my guess.
Surhaz Ledger. Excuse me if I pronounced that wrong. Apologize. I watched it, but to be fair, we weren't there and see the whole exchange. I'd like to hear all sides just saying. We kind of brought that up as well. We're only hearing sort of their side. We don't know exactly what transpired on the other side, which made this event occur, and it could only be passenger complaints.
Yeah.
And I know they feel because, the last cruise they were on 3 years ago, they had problems and it was a horrible nightmare. They haven't gone on it 3 years. They come back and they probably feel internally it's targeted against them. But again, if it wasn't, they wouldn't be on their influencer list and be invited. Mm-hmm. Again, they weren't, specifically invited for this cruise, but still invited, welcomed back, right? So I agree. I would love to hear the other side, but I just don't think there's another side to hear. So that's why we feel it really is a passenger complaint thing, and they just shut them down in the hardest of ways. Oh, thank you for the thumbs up. Woo-hoo. Macrina says, would love to see what would happen if this happened to Jay. He's a huge content creator too. Yeah, look, I'm sure, he would respond the same way we would, they would, Tony would, or anyone would. Look, in the end, I can't speak for everybody out there. I met Ben and David. I think it was on the celebration we were on with them. And it just said hello. We didn't hang out with them, but they were nice and they were polite. We watched their videos. You watch their videos. They're nice guys. Jay, we've hung out with him a lot. He's from close to where we are from, and we have some mutual friends together from his entertainment career, and we just sort of jived and we just hung out a little bit and stuff, and so we see him frequently, not all the time, but we're on a lot of the inaugurals together, and we hang out, and we've had a good time. I did a huge interview with him. It's a 2-parter. If you haven't seen it, it's in the videos. Go check it out. But you know, I know I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to speak my piece, but I'm going to do it by taking the high road, right? Just how I feel we're doing this now. We know how they were treated. I can thank you for the thumbs up because we heard their side. We didn't hear MSC's side. Do we feel there was an overreaction? Absolutely. But my guess is it was because of guests' complaints and they were responding to guest complaints. Do we feel it could have been handled better? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, you just can't stop. You can't film in here. But that's not what happened. And so hopefully, as a company, they'll look at this whole thing and they're going to be able to look at it because there's a lot of people talking about it. You can go back and watch the footage and all this stuff. And speaking of high road, they even blurted out the conversations that had gone, because management came up while their camera was going.
Yeah.
And it was on and it captured the conversation. They blurted out, all the management's voice and face and all that stuff. And so, they're taking the high road. So,
Yeah, they
McCrane, to
totally
your point, we would respond, I feel, in a similar way if we were treated, again, paying passengers. You didn't pay me to be there. I paid my good money. They paid $5,000 plus to be on that ship of their own money. And to be treated that way, I think was uncalled for.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if a passenger is complaining, great, address it. Passengers are complaining about, you videoing in these private areas. Could you, do what you want to do out in the rest of the space, but here in the yacht club, we really got to, forbid you from videoing unless we can, work out a time and everybody blah, 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 right? Like they did with us. They had to make a phone call to see if there was a time and we could figure it all out, right? So that's why I'm guessing. So, hopefully they can come back as a company, look at this, make some policy changes themselves, and maybe if this should happen again, they address it in a different way.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I would love and hope to think.
Yeah. Same.
Outside of that, we loved MSC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Luna Rose says, unpopular opinion, I would not want to deal with video recording in yacht club while having dinner, even if my face is blurred. Luna, we actually agree with you 100%.
Yeah, we do.
We've had our camera on a few times at some of our dinners, and normally the camera's facing down at our table. It can't even see us. You're really just seeing the food. In fact, we haven't broadcast any of this stuff yet, but I got to lean down into the camera so y'all, yep, that's what we're doing, right? There's one exception, maybe two exceptions. We were in teppanyaki, and we videoed the teppanyaki, and before we turned the camera on, we asked everybody at the table, hey, we have content, we got a YouTube channel, we would like to video this and put this up. Is everybody okay with this? And everybody was, oh, that's great. What's your channel's name? And everybody was fine with it. Now, subsequently, we still haven't put that up yet. We still have that. And I think we may have gotten, I don't know if it was one of the steak houses that we're at. I was thinking it got somebody, but we spoke to them. Again, we haven't put it out anyway. It doesn't matter. But other than those two moments that we're talking about, the camera, if we're going to video in the dining room at any, whether it's specialty or public, it doesn't matter. It's focused down at the food.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Luna, I don't think that's an unpopular opinion.
No,
I don't.
I don't
People
think so
just,
either.
I don't like to be on video when I'm eating.
No.
That's why we put it down on the table.
Yeah.
Don't kill me.
We videoed live. This was on the Carnival celebration, was it? I think the very last night. We weren't gonna stream, and we decided to. And I turned it on while I was eating dinner. And until the very end, when we were done and the party started in the dining room with the staff dancing and stuff, I then took the camera and walked around. But we were focused on the staff.
Yeah.
Not on people eating their food.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
I feel like that was the Venezia because it was a longer cruise.
It was a longer cruise.
Streaming every day.
Well, so was the celebration because we took it from Southampton over there. The Venezia. Doesn't matter. It was one of the Carnival cruises.
That's right.
Yeah,
we did.
That's okay.
Yeah, maybe it was a celebration. You might be right.
And again, you brought that up once before. We agree with you 100%.
Yes.
100%. Macrina says, but I don't think it's the camera size since they were not told. Oh, excuse me, everybody.
They were told not to use their phone.
Excuse me.
Even for photos.
I think it. It was a combination of the both to begin with, and now that the damage is done, you're
cut
done,
off.
right? So I think it was a combination of the both. As I said, look, their rig is bigger than ours. It's smaller than big broadcast rigs, but it's a decent size. I know they think it's small, but he doesn't have big lights on or anything like that. But look, it's a big camera with the thing open. It's
noticeable.
It's very attracting when someone is walking around with someone that size. You notice it immediately, right? But again, they're conscious of that. So regardless, if it had just been a cell phone, who knows, right? But again, I think the damage was done. You're done. No pictures, no nothing, whatever.
Yeah.
So, in fact, it was moments later. I mean, when it all happened, they went back to their cabin. They decided they're off the ship. They recorded a few more words, and then they left.
Yeah.
Because, we're done here.
Yeah.
So it was, as soon as someone confronted them, all the management needed to do was say, okay, say. I'm waiting for the other line, maybe radar. Is it down here? Did we? We do not want you to film in the public areas of the yacht club. There it was.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. All right.
Yeah,
Ian has a
I
question.
agree.
They got in trouble for filming the yacht club. We
That's our suspicion. That is
Correct.
my gut feeling.
Correct. They were, if I remember correctly, in the yacht club at the time when management came up to them. Did they get in trouble for videoing in the yacht club? We're making an assumption because they weren't told, so we don't know. But they had been filming pretty extensively the other areas of the ship the
For
first
days.
3.5, 4 days of this cruise. This was day 4 of the cruise. This wasn't day 1. They've been videoing. I mean, go watch their video. There's 45 minutes of footage covering the entire ship. Well, I mean, not like we cover it, but they covered a lot.
They did
You'll
cover
see
a
it.
lot, yeah.
And so, in fact, it was funny. They made a comment at one point that, like, somebody saw them videoing and talked to them, this, that, or whatever. Like, man, we haven't seen you. Like, it was day 4. We've been doing this for 4 days. So we're making a general assumption based upon the evidence in front, the information that David and has been able to, Ben and David have talked about the scenario, and knowing the cruise industry and everything else, knowing our history of trying to get in the yacht club and how they protect it, that we feel it was because of the yacht club.
Yeah.
So it's just a guesstimate, but
I feel like it's an educated guess.
I think so.
I'm
going to go
really
99%. 99%.
Yeah, because we've seen how protective they are of the yacht club.
Yeah. Yep.
And so I really do feel that that's something to do with it.
Yep. Luna says, I love Ben and David, but it's true what Sir Has says. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Agree 100%. Mamie Raider says, we do not want you to film in the public. Yeah. Oh, that's the, yeah.
Yes,
sorry.
the second half.
Sorry for the split chat. Don't worry about it. We figured it out the first time, and now I'm having a Dory moment. Got it. They couldn't film it all. Yep. No, I understand. Yep. EM74 again. MSC could have said not to film the yacht club, not for the. Yep, absolutely. They could have.
Yep.
There could have been a million things done in different ways.
A ton of things.
The
could have been
damage is now
differently.
done, and oh my God, it's been an explosion.
Yes.
We would love to see what would happen to J2. I follow him as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine what J. you know, I can tell you what my video would be. A lot of and then there's and then I can't believe that and
a lot of this.
that's what our video would sound like. But I got a button. I'm not afraid to use it because this is that. Speaking of which, do we have it?
No.
Dang
No.
We don't have it?
No, we don't. Oh, yeah.
That's a pile of. Okay, so to get to the big question, the fallout, the ripple. Now what? Really, now what happens? Right? I mean, what is MSC going to do now? If What are they going to do now? How?
I don't know. I am totally interested to find out how many cancellations they have in the next week. Yeah.
It's going to be and the guys that work in rooms with no windows, they're going to look at their computers going, "Oh my God, what's going on? Hey,
Yeah.
Billy," and you know, Ben and David got
and I really do. I feel that they're going to have a ton of cancellations, and you know, I don't know. I mean, I'm still floored.
So
I'm still speechless.
Let me pose this to you out there watching. So you're now Ben and David. Okay? This has now happened to you technically for the second time.
Right.
Not the first time, but 2 times. Right? So, I mean, anyway, the second time. Month from now, MSC calls. We are so sorry. This was taken way out of context. The reason was this, blah, 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 blah. We'll just say what we're saying. Passengers have been complaining. What management was supposed to do is just ask you to stop filming in the yacht club, not the entire ship. We do apologize. We'd love to have you come back. You know what? Here's a refund for the cruise for what you paid for. We are so sorry. We hope that somewhere in the future you'll forgive us and come back. Don't offer to pay for it. Just something along those lines. Okay? You're Ben and David. What are your responses to this? Because again, that's what I want to know. What now? How does MSC respond to this? Or do they not even respond to it and just let it go because it's the flavor of the moment? But it's the flavor of a moment that's going to have a ripple effect into the millions. Because as I mentioned, Tony's got 250,000 subscribers. They got 250,000. I don't have 200. We don't. It's 14,000. But these videos are going to play, and they're going to get shared, and they're going to move along, and 500,000 turn into 1 million, which turn into 2, which turn into 4. And all of a sudden, as I mentioned, the guys in the room with no windows, boom, how many cancellations? What does MSC do? So let's just say they figure this out. They offer an apology. If you're Ben and David and you get that sort of response, what next?
I don't even know. I mean, I would thank you. I would stew over that and stew over that and stew over that because I don't know how I would feel. I don't know how I would respond. Would I want to go back? I don't know.
Look, in the end, right? Let's look at the industry as a whole. MSC is a big corporation. There's lots of moving parts. So is Carnival and Royal Caribbean and Celebrity and Princess and Disney and all these companies, right? And all these lines have many ships, some more than others, right? And on the ship, there's X and so employees. On the other ship, there's X and so employees, and then so forth and so on, right? And so we're talking about the reaction of a few employees.
That is very true. That is very true. So how does the company react in regards to the actions of a few employees?
Correct.
That is very true.
Correct. I mean,
yeah.
Is it a horrible situation? Yeah, horrible enough. They made a video about it and put it out, which is why we're here talking about it tonight. And then I agree. It should never have been done.
But you and I have had people working for us that we've had to cover up for things that our employees have done. So, I mean, I get it. You know, we have no control over what they do. Yes, we have guidelines. And if somebody steps out of those guidelines and doesn't do what they're supposed to do, then we have to go and
deal with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I get that.
Yeah. When we were on Carnival, I'm sure some of you who are here with us now remember we had a spa personnel treat us rather harshly. Now, what did we do? We did what she said. We turned off the camera and we left. Mm-hmm. Her thing was about videoing at the moment. So we did. We turned it off and left. Now, it wasn't done in the right way at all whatsoever. We talked about it live with you guys. Okay? We weren't filming in anything other than public areas at the time. Wasn't treatment rooms, wasn't public areas. We should have been allowed to video, but we were censored from doing it. And we spoke out. Now, she didn't handle it right. Did we hold Carnival responsible and never cruised on them again?
No.
No. It's one employee
Yeah.
acting incorrectly, right? And so
we complained about it, but
we even cut her out of the video,
Yeah.
so you didn't see her face.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
again, taking the high road. But we turned off the video. Yeah, it's sort of just like, look, Ben and David, they turned the camera
Mhm.
off when it got to that point where they said you got to turn it off. And
okay,
they did,
done.
and we're done.
Yeah,
and,
not a problem.
And they felt so weird that let's just go to the cabin. So they went to the cabin and they thought about it a little bit and said, well, can't video. Let's go. We might as well leave.
Yeah.
They put in the phones, booked some flights, and got off the ship, which that in itself took a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Anyway, but again, I'm going to look down in the comments now to see what you guys think. I don't know what happens at this point, because I just feel this is something that's going to stick around. I mean, look,
I do too. Yeah.
when we got on our first MSC ship, prior to getting on, we didn't watch any videos, but we heard comments from so many people about cruising and this, that, or whatever, about MSC. Oh my God, it's so bad, and the food sucks, and it just, I couldn't believe how many negative comments. We got on the ship and
Loved it.
nothing was like anything these people had said to us.
Best service ever,
Not
I
a
think.
bit. Yeah. I mean, we literally had a waiter walk our dessert for us. I have a mute button. I can just mute it for you,
Thank you.
We actually had a waiter walk our dessert from the main dining room to our cabin because we had to get ready to stream. I mean, that is amazing service, right? So we had a great time. So we booked it again and had just as fantastic of a time as we did the first time. So it's, I think, a horrible situation that, and now we are talking about management. They should know better.
Right.
It's not, the cabin cleaning guy, a room steward, or, a waiter, or, one of the people who work below the deck that came up above the deck and kicked somebody or whatever. This is management. They're trained. They should know better. So I hope there's some inquiries going on through corporate to get the stories. What?
I'm chuckling because there was always this saying, I've worked for a corporate environment before, and they're like, you want to get rid of a bad manager? Promote him.
them.
That's why I'm chuckling. I'm sorry.
All these people on the ship are going to be, vice presidents tomorrow. And there's been a change at MSC. At Disney, those who can do, those who can't get promoted. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to some of your comments. Macrina says, my opinion, all passengers are of value and all paid to be in Yacht Club. Which passenger's money is more important? It was wrongly handled or handled wrong. All passengers deserve respect.
Yes.
Exactly 1,000,000%.
Yes.
Also see the notes of the invite Ben and Dave had. Freeze frame what their email said for their content. I did. I froze frame and I looked at it. They were invited. We're gonna pay for you to come on this ship, and you're gonna be in the Yacht Club. We want you to video it to show the people what the Yacht Club experience is about. Right? I'm paraphrasing some of this. We expect to get 2 16 by 9 videos with subtitles and all this stuff. I mean, it was well defined, and they were going to cover all the expenses. And Ben and David decided to decline, but go on their own and pay on their own and do it on their own. Okay, but they were invited, so again, they're on the list. They were on the list. I don't know. EM74 says, I wondered if MSC shipping container was the same company as that. It is.
It is.
It's the same company.
Yes.
Yep. Absolutely. That's why they didn't suffer during COVID. They actually prospered, if you will, because so much went to like Amazon, or everybody was ordering from home and shipping. Everybody remembers the shipping nightmares during COVID. But so MSC thrived. Yeah.
Yes.
Question. I heard MSC only allows one device to be used for the internet. It's not that they only allow one device. It's that you can only use one device per subscription. I will explain. We explained this in detail on our videos while we were on the ship. Go back and watch them. No. So if you sign on, you're on your phone, their system attaches
An IP address.
an IP address to your phone. So if you log out of your phone and then log in on your computer won't have the same IP address. It won't let you log in. So it's one device per subscription or whatever you want to call that.
Yeah.
Right. So if you plan on, like for us, when we were just on the ship, I had to pay for my cell phone and I had to pay for my computer. I had to pay for 2 devices. Okay. Because now on other cruise lines, I'll just log, when we're getting ready to stream, I log out of my phone, I log back into the computer. And so I only need 1. On MSC, I got to do 2. So yeah, that is correct. DM74.
Yes.
PJL, again, nice to see you. I've never seen you here before. Welcome to the Tall Man Clan. Yes, another Yacht Club member said something, and then in the heat of the moment, MSC management said the wrong thing. I would agree 100% with that assessment, really. Then he says, their video popped up in my feed, and I'm not subscribed to them. The video is making the rounds. It is.
Without a doubt.
I don't have my... If somebody wants to go look for me, like I said, this was 4 hours ago. It had about 180-something thousand views. Again, 4 or 5 hours ago. Somebody look it up and put it in the comments how many views it has now. Right? I'm telling you, it's going to be 1 million within 2 or 3 days.
Oh, easily.
If not, right? Because I'm sure passing it, reposting it, and right? But Danny, it also probably pops up because you do watch cruise videos, and this one's popping right now. And so you get to see it.
We've talked about that before. You know how the YouTube algorithm, when it's getting good responses, it suggests it to other people.
Yeah.
And
that's why we always say like it, share it.
Exactly, like it, share it.
Yeah, all content creators do that.
Yeah,
right, because it tells, hey, YouTube, these guys must be doing pretty good. Let's put it in front of somebody else.
Hey, this video is interesting. Let's let everybody see it.
Macrina said the invite to Ben and David for the free cruise they did not take they were told to create content for MSC and what the deliverables were for MSC. So that's not exactly true, Macrina. I think you read into it a little bit wrong. They're going to create videos. They're going to post them on their YouTube channel. However, that MSC has the right to use that content as well. That's what all of that means. So they're creating content for themselves. Ben and David weren't coming on there just to make videos and give those videos to MSC for themselves to use. They would put them up on their own YouTube channel, and then MSC would have the rights to those videos as well, right? Or MSC can allow them to take still photos during public times and then voice over their snapshots. Nothing wrong with that, but that wasn't there was no options.
Yeah,
Hey,
no.
You're done.
Yeah.
Turn the camera off, put your phones away. We're watching you. And if I remember correctly, didn't they say they were being followed?
I don't specifically
after this,
remember
which
that.
is why they decided to go to their cabin.
I don't specifically remember that.
I don't know. Y'all can chime in if you want. Luna says, I agree. The suites in the yacht club are fine. Not great. The prices are usually much lower than Celebrity Retreat or NCL Haven. Exactly.
Yes.
Absolutely. And that was one of the points that Ben and David were making before everything went south.
Yeah.
That for your dollar, that was a great experience. From the moment they arrived at the port, they were hand carried onto the ship. They were explained how it all worked. I mean, it's all in their video. You can go watch their video. And he says, best luxury experience, if you will, that they have had out of the ones that you had mentioned. And for the dollars, amazing. And it was like about half the price that they paid for everything else.
Yeah, for the other cruise line options.
Cruise line, specifically Carnival, actually have a chat and photograph page in their app. How many times are there people in the background of all those non-solicited pictures there? Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. It's impossible. You're on a ship of thousands of people, and not everybody, but almost everybody has got something they're doing this with. Right? Whether you're doing it for personal, whether you're creating content for others to see, it's physically impossible to keep everyone out. We can only do the best that we can and make those efforts to keep, like we video in the middle of the night when no one's up. No one's up. Occasionally there's some drunk person sitting on a stair or something or whatever. I mean,
or mama with a sick baby walking in the hallways.
It's occasionally.
We do run into things like that.
Danny says, swim with the fishes. Would they have to pay for that excursion? Antonio's answers, yes, Danny, it's a one-time excursion, so it's very expensive. Life-changing, guys.
Yes.
Life-changing. Better listen to MSC or you're going to sleep with the fishes. You're going to sleep with the fishes. Chris says, I know what it is. Someone had their side piece for a week and didn't. Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. Billy Bob brought his little mistress on board or something.
It could be.
Look, it could have been anything.
Yeah.
In the end, somebody didn't want their pictures taken.
Yeah.
Whether they actually had their pictures taken or video taken, whether they actually ended up on camera or not is neither here nor there at this point. Somebody made a complaint in this area, and those people in the yacht club are treated like absolute royalty.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are.
Yeah.
And okay, it's great. That's all good. But management, I think you just got to handle it better.
They totally blew it out of proportion.
Guys, you can't video in here anymore. Please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Honestly, that would have been it. And,
Yep.
if there would have been any backlash, then call security. And,
Yeah.
that's,
Look,
that's all that needs to be done.
Ben and David would have turned it off and been done
They
with it.
would have.
Just
That's
like
what
us.
yeah, absolutely.
And just been done. No.
Yeah.
No.
And
we get it. We understand.
yeah.
Right? We
Yep.
understand. Here's a bigger question. Should we try to bid in an upgrade and get up into the yacht club? Anybody want to?
We've talked about
Anybody
that.
want to start a fund for that? Should we do a GoFundMe?
We may need bail.
Yeah, it's got to be a really big account. PJL says, honestly, I'm surprised they did not regroup later to resolve the matter to their satisfaction at all. So, PJ, I think because this is a 3-year saga that has turned really bad. They had been on 3 years prior, and oddly enough, had a fairly similar experience. And at that time, they said they would never come back. And it's been 3 years. They said, you know what? Let's give them another chance. And they did. And in the end, a very similar, if not same, end result.
Yeah.
And so I don't think they had it in them to try to resolve.
I agree.
And again, remember Serge, whatever the other person watching's name, and I forget the commenter, I'm sorry, but we've only heard their side. We don't know the other side of the story. We just don't know, right? So knowing what we do know and knowing why we go on cruises, we obviously go on cruises for vacation that we don't tell you about and we don't video because we just want to be on vacation. But when we're there, we are working. And if we can no longer do our job, there'd be no need to stay, especially under the scenario that happened to them because they're in this very exclusive area and everybody turned from nice to nasty. And now you got to deal with nasty for 3 more days. I got to tell you, I'm off the ship. So I understand your thought process, but because this is like dug up all the bad memories from 3 years ago, it's like nothing's changed. There's nothing to resolve here. We're out of here. Anyway, Chris says someone with a lot of money, that is. Yeah, maybe. EM17, how do you guys have the button set to YouTube and or your computer? How do you guys have the button set to YouTube? Are you talking about the that button? Is that what you're talking about? That's so funny you guys have a okay, yeah. So
oh, the bleep button.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. EM74, you're going to have to go back and watch some of our old videos. We are very open about everything. I'm not trying to get you to go watch some old content. Obviously new. Again, welcome to the Tallman Clan. We are glad to have you here. I'm going to close this down a little bit here so I can try to see. We're in a hotel, guys. Okay. See that right here? This is called a Rodecaster Duo. This is what our headset mics are going into. It allows for us to be able to have some better audio and more control. And right here, there's some little buttons like this one here. That's got a chime, but this one down here is the button. Okay. So does that make sense? Oh my God. By the way, that was not our stuff in the corner. That was behind the chair Lisa's now sitting in.
Yeah, the hotel we're in, a couple of things were left behind.
Yeah, not our stuff in the corner,
Not
guys.
ours. Yeah, a bar of soap left in the top part of the shower corner.
We're not here to talk about hotels.
No, we're not. And thank you for the thumbs up, by the way.
But you ask, and look, we share. And this is what we do, guys.
And we're kind of embarrassed by that now, because I don't know what that is.
And oddly enough, she's Lisa here. Get up, Lisa. She's sitting in a fairly large, nice chair. We're sitting in front of the window here, right? That chair was in the corner, but that chair is a little bit higher than mine, and obviously this is called tall man.
It works because I'm short,
so it gets her a little closer to my height. So
actually, I'm not too
short,
but to him, compared to him, I'm short.
Yeah, I'm 6'4", she's
5'7".
Anyway, so there you go. But this is what we do in our streams, guys. We bring you, even when we're on the ship, we talk about the content of the day, whatever part of the ship we're showing, and then we get into a Q&A and have a discussion with you guys. And so EM74, that's what we're about at this channel. We're glad to have you.
Absolutely.
And so I've got buttons for everything.
I can be this. Stop filming.
Sorry.
You see
give me
what
a
you
button
did.
now. What I'm gonna do anyway. Okay. All right. If MSC gives a formal request, which they won't, I would do my job on their line again. Not anytime soon, because my cruise work dollar is already spent for the next 12 months. So, Macrina, I'm believing that's a response to what would you do if you were Ben and David?
Yes.
Yeah. MSC is trying to build their cruise industry, so how can they throw away all the free advertising? That's what shocks us about all of this.
Yes.
And of course, you never know what an influencer might say or might do. Thank you, Angela. Angela gets the applause. No, that's the wrong button. She got a cricket too. Shut up, cricket. And an air horn. Normally when we're in Tall Man Mobile, there's lights that flash back here, but
Can we flash that
we
one?
can. There we go. There's your flashing lights, Angela. Thank you so much, honey. Anyway.
We're flashing you.
Yeah. Woo! Here we go. We're going south.
Quickly.
And that is our quandary, right? So now what I was about to say is a cruise line, of course, doesn't know what an influencer is going to say. They just don't know. Now, of course, Ben and David had been on there before, and they had a bad experience. And they're going to say they had a bad experience. Just like, look, we give you the God honest truth, good, bad, and the ugly. If we don't like it, we tell you we don't like it, but we tell you why we don't like it. Could they improve? We would mention that as well, like in this particular situation.
Yes.
I just think it was a couple of employees in a company that has hundreds of thousands of employees
that handled
the situation badly, which made the situation even worse than it absolutely needed to be. And now it's a disaster. But anyway, again, they haven't paid us. They didn't pay for our first cruise. They didn't pay for the last two cruises. And they certainly didn't pay for the two that we're about to go on. And we had a fantastic time. We're going on it again. Please go on MSC. Have a great time. For the dollars you're going to spend on the ships, you're going to have a fantastic time. The service has been great. The food has been amazing. And to us, on par with celebrity food. I mean, really, we've had a fantastic time. It's the only thing I don't agree with Ben and David. Again, we all have our own tastes and our own opinions. We loved the food. Yeah. We really did. They were like sort of 50-50 on the food.
Yeah.
We loved it. Though we do agree with the pizza. The pizza's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And they even said that too.
Yeah. But they were having some kind of charcoal pizza.
Yeah, I've never seen the charcoal pizza.
Either.
Yeah, that was
anyway,
interesting.
Luna says, I honestly don't think that MSC will get many cancellations. They get bad press all the time.
Yeah.
I think they're too rich to care. Maybe.
That is a good point. They've
Maybe.
had bad press for a long time.
Maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's 100% hard to say. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. I don't know. We'll see. I
Yeah.
don't think I put. There we go. There
Are
we
we
go.
centered better?
Yeah, we're now better now.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Danny says, I would ask for unimpeded access to video on board their ships at the least, but I really think this is just a blip on MSC's radar. Like anything else, what do they say in the advertising industry? Bad press is good press.
That is true too, because you're getting your name out there.
Yep.
That is
so
true.
You could be 100% correct. This could just be a little blip on their radar, and they do absolutely nothing. Maybe they have a couple conversations with some employees so it doesn't happen again.
Well, let's hope they do that anyway.
Right? But maybe they do nothing. I don't know. However, in my opinion, and I don't run a multi-billion-dollar corporation, however, if I was running a corporation where so much of the press and the influence about what a ship or cruise line may look like come from people like us, I would reach out and try to make amends.
Yeah, I would.
In the way that I explained. Don't invite them back. Give them their money back.
Yeah.
Tell them they're sorry. Tell them it should have been handled differently. Tell them why. Right? And hope that sometime in the future they will see fit to come back. And if they do, they'll give them a 50% future cruise credit. Again, don't offer to pay. Just give them a future cruise. Something like that. And then leave it alone.
Yeah.
Right? They stuck their hand out. So sorry. We've made reparations. Whatever the story is. I mean, right? We've talked with these employees. We send them to sensitivity training. I mean, whatever. However, Danny, I would only enter this. There are lots of creators that ask for unimpeded access, and in a lot of cases, asking comes off as entitlement. So you just got to be careful about that, especially in this situation. I think that would be more of a demand coming from them to say, hey,
or at
fine.
least perceived as a
Perceived
demand.
that way.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll come back, but we want, you know what I'm saying? I think both parties would have to take what's here. Just, we're going to try to, huggy kissy and take it from that.
Yeah.
Karina's like, yes, the spa lady. We listened to her enough to turn off the camera, and then, anyway. Did you wear your ring so she didn't know who you were? No, I didn't. The funny thing was, I haven't bought the consigliere out in a long
Years,
time.
yeah. It's yeah.
Yeah. PJL says, face it, Ben and David make their own decisions. I would bet once things cool down, that a compromise would have been reached. Potentially. If they had decided to stay on board, they probably would have just stayed in their cabin. I don't know, because they really felt embarrassed by the whole thing. He was shaking, right?
Yeah, he was.
And
when your emotions have been, brought to the point that you are shaking,
it takes a lot.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
EM74, I hope MSC side does not say anything. Oh, look, they're not going to say anything to you. You're respectfully just a passenger. I mean, even if you are a content creator, I just to their point in their video and the thing that we talked about earlier, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of content creators, whether it's YouTube, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Instagram Reels, Facebook, that are out there videoing on ships every single day across the entire industry.
Yeah.
Not just MSC, but every single ship. You can't stop it. Now, on top of that, there's hundreds and hundreds of thousands. How many hundreds of thousands of people cruise every day that are videoing for themselves? How do you determine the people that are videoing for themselves as opposed to the people that are, content creating? That's where I get into the big rig. I know Ben doesn't think, Ben and David don't think that is a big rig, but compared to somebody's, cell phone or GoPro, that thing is giant.
Yeah.
It's a professional camera. Again, not professional in a broadcast sense, but you're not videoing for vacation.
Yes.
And I think that is determining line, right? It's honestly, it's not the deciding factor, but that is one of the main reasons we just use our cell phone. We don't want the big. First of all, we don't want to carry. We can carry enough crap. We got the Duo now and the headsets and the stands and all this stuff. But when we're out in the public, we are just walking around with our little gimbal, talking quietly because I wear a lapel mic, or I'm talking quietly because the camera's literally right in front of my face. And we're trying to be as unobtrusive as possible because we are aware everyone else, or at least 99.999% of the people, because again, there's other creators on there, are there for vacation.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be in the way.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, Macrina says, I give all my respect to all content creators who follow their own vibe. By not being comped a cruise just to give a flowery review of their product. We at TMC appreciate your opinion and truth. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Danny Max says
Absolutely.
215,000. So in the past 3 or 4 hours, again, 4 hours max, really, they've picked up another 30-something thousand views, 40,000 views. We're probably at 300 or 400 views. I mean, see the difference? I mean, this will get a few more, but, you're all looking now. Macrina, Danny, PJL, yep, 250,000 views. EM74 says, thank you so much very much. I understand about the internet for MSC. Great. I will have to let my cabin mate know. Absolutely. Yes. I think she might want to bring more than one device. Again, thank you. Yeah, no, not a problem. Yeah, just look, if you aren't planning to post anything on YouTube or Facebook for your friends or be in contact with anyone, but you're bringing a device so you can stream Netflix, then just bring your iPad and do one device, right? But if the plan was, to sort of post for your friends on Facebook or whatever, then again, you just do your phone. But just know it's, and it's, I don't know, it's like $24 per day per device, right? So, it gets up there. I mean, we're about to do a 14-day. It's, our internet bill is going to be, $400 or $500 just for us to be in contact and stream for you guys, right? So anyway, everybody's Lolita Loca has 75,000. Yeah. So between the 215,000 views and the 75,000 views in there, I mean, there's 300,000 views right there. And again, it's not going to stop today. The video just got posted today.
Yeah.
And now it's nighttime getting across the U.S. and it's crazy.
It's gonna go all over the place quickly.
PJL, is he talking? Is Jay talking about this tonight too? Interesting, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Hal is alive. Yes, Hal is alive.
Yes.
Ben and David viewed 216,000. Yeah, it's 1,000 in 5 minutes. It's going to just continue to go up, really. Yeah. Eyes up here, right? Very fancy equipment, you two. It's we used to just carry the laptop around, but it's challenging when you're in public spaces to have good audio. The video on the camera on the computer is actually, it's not horrible, y'all. I mean,
this is my fault.
This is the camera on the computer. It's not horrible. But this is obviously a better look and a better view. This is her fault. I've got a big, huge voice all the time. I'm
loudmouth.
Yeah. And she's
and I'm quiet
and squeaky. And so she's not squeaky, little mouse. So we had another set of microphones that we had, and again, I can have mine here,
and mine was here.
But it just anyway. So I found these things, which are great because I have them in this device. We have processing and things that we can do to help I don't want to get into the technical things. I come from a music background, so it's like a little mixing console. And I got gates.
This is easy for him. I'm looking at it going, I'm staying away from that.
Yeah, I mean, we can have all kinds of fun things here. Hello. I mean, it's got fun things, but from the audio quality, right? Everybody wants to hear better audio, and in the end, we are, and we've mentioned it multiple times, we're going to be, and we've started sort of the process of podcasting as well. And so this all plays with all of that.
Yeah.
But we are always live somewhere. We're in a hotel. We full-time RV, if you didn't know that, EM74, since you knew. So we're either in an RV or on a cruise ship. We just happen to be in a hotel. This is typically about the only time we're in a hotel, unless we've flown in to get on a ship.
Yeah.
But we do ship departures from ports. And again, and so there's all these different environments that have different audio challenges. So to be able to wear a headset, have the mic right here, have compression gate, all the things. It's not as fancy as you would think, but maybe it's a little bit different.
And we've talked for a long time that we want to put out quality stuff, and we always want to continue to improve.
Yeah.
And being able to hear both of us without hearing him yelling and me just whispering, and things along that line, and like having the better pictures. And being able to have the camera that we call HAL that will automatically move like this without us jerking our cameras around, things like that, make it a lot more enjoyable for you to watch.
Balcony cam. This was a shot actually from the seashore. This was Hal. Well, no, this was Sal. That was Sal. We had Sal out on our balcony on a stand facing out into the ocean. And so we do that. Everybody seems to like balcony cam. But if other YouTubers were to turn the camera around for you to see their setups, I promise you ours is minuscule compared to a lot of these guys and their setups. And most of it is because we're mobile.
Yeah.
We're on the move. And if we don't have a YouTube room,
we don't,
like most of these guys create in, where all their stuff is permanently there. Every time we stream, we have to set it up and tear it all down. Every single time. And so I know it might seem fancy, but what it is, it's easy and it's compact.
Yeah.
So anyway, but there was a little bit of, I was putting that back there. Anyway, let's keep on going.
All
Angela,
right.
Thank you so much. We love you.
Yes, we do.
We just got to the notice there, even though we saw it earlier. That's part of the adventure part of the channel. Absolutely. Yeah. We are on the adventure.
Mm-hmm. Always an adventure.
Again, yes, since I'm new, LOL, thank you so much for showing us your small soundboard. It's very cool. You're welcome. Again, we are happy to show you behind the curtain. That's behind the curtain. Right there's behind the curtain. I'm not doing a good job behind the curtain.
No,
here.
You're not. You're totally.
I don't know.
Where is the thing?
Know. It's okay. Whatever. It was behind the curtain.
What in the world?
Know.
There we go.
There we go. Behind the curtain. There's a horrible parking lot right there. It's hideous. Anyway, we do carry a little blue light with us, so we have a little blue light there. So we'll carry a few things. Angela's laughing. Well, Ben and David have English taste buds. Yeah, they do. They do. She's talking about their food.
Yes,
right.
That they gave it a 3, and I would have given it 4.
EM74. Have you two had some New York pizza since you've been there?
Not yet.
We are in the next couple of days.
Yes.
It our home base is Florida, and so we're just freezing. I could go out and buy lawn johns. I mean, we don't have warm clothes. We live in Florida. That's where the mail goes. We're never there. But we're here for another, 5, 6, 7 days or whatever it is. And so, yes, I'm originally from Massachusetts. The North End for me is the only place to go get pizza. So I'm a pizza snob. So
yeah, he is.
I like good pizza. But yeah,
MSC has really good pizza though.
They do. All the cruise lines we've ever been on.
It's the best
pizza.
Yeah.
By the way, it's Emily for EM. That's okay. Emily. We'll call you Emily. Danny's like 244,000 now. Guys, I'm telling you, it's going to keep on climbing because the more people that are watching, it's just getting pushed. And of course, Tony talked about it. We're now talking about it. Somebody mentioned Jay's. Yeah. I'm going to scroll to the end. Did Jay's video? Is he talking about this tonight too?
Somebody, whoever, it said he released a video 20 minutes ago, so I don't think he's live.
Yeah. No, he doesn't do live like we
No,
do.
very
But he put out a
rarely.
video. My question is his video about the same subject? Because
Okay.
again, he's got 200-something thousand subscribers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to go back.
Keep going, keep
Yeah.
going, keep going. Oh, okay, there we are.
Okay. Antonio says MSC is a shipping company trying to expand into the hospitality industry. They need to hire someone from a luxury cruise line or hotel to train their staff. So here's a couple of things. So you're correct. However, they've been a cruise line
In Europe.
for years.
In Europe for a long
time. They're not new. They got 23 ships.
Yeah.
They're not new to the cruising industry.
They're new to the United States. Well, not even.
No, but
They're
newer,
Yeah.
right? They have been making recently a much bigger push
Mm-hmm.
into the U.S. market.
I know
however,
they've been at least 15 years in the U.S.
but they are a European
Yes. Cruise
company,
line, yes.
and things are different in Europe as they are here. In fact, these are things Ben and David talked about, like smoking. Smoking in Europe is a much bigger thing than it is in America. Okay, and so their ships are much more smoker friendly. There's smoking sections all over the place.
Yeah.
U.S. ships,
Mm-mm.
You're going to find one. It's going to be somewhere in the back, and if it's outside and it's cold, you're freezing your butt off. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. Right? On MSC, they're all over the place. In fact, on the World Europa, they have an indoor smoking bar.
Yes.
I think it's one of the first ships that I've heard now because they've all done away with them. Not on MSC. The seashore, the seaside, and the seascape, they didn't have anything inside smoking. They were all outside.
They
But there
did
was like
have
4 or 5.
smoking inside a casino.
Some ships still have
Yeah,
smoking inside the casino, but most of them now have a dedicated smoking area
Yeah.
casino.
Yes.
Like the seashore had, it was small, but there was
Yes.
a smoking one just completely closed off from everything else.
Yes.
In fact, we almost missed it when we were doing our
We
video
did.
because it was sort of off the beaten path.
We totally did miss it.
Anyway, Emily says, question, can my GoPro 8 be connected with my iPhone 15 Pro? No, I do not believe so. I'll look it up, but I don't. No, you can't connect them together. Chris, if I'm MSC, I'm not doing anything for them. Matter of fact, I would double down and say on our ship, guests matter, and so do their privacy. Okay, I can go with that. I can go with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I can go with that. However, I would only add, they should have told them from the get-go. It's not like you don't know who these guys are. I mean, you don't. I mean, they're well announced, right? And in fact, and one of the things they were talking about in their video, once you get to the port, they bring you to an area, they sit down, and they start talking to you about the yacht club and what to expect and what you get and what you don't get, what you can do and what you can't do. If that is to be one of those things, since they had their stuff out and they were videoing in that area, I would have thought it should have been brought up then.
That makes perfect sense to me.
But other than that, Chris, I can't disagree.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're 244,000 subscribers. Chris says, I got a number,
Views. 244,000 views.
Yeah. Chris says, I got a number, 7 billion people on the planet. I wouldn't concern myself about 2 content creators, especially if I'm a multi-billion-dollar company. Again, I understand your opinions. You know, we've chatted privately through email and stuff. I absolutely agree. But however, that multi-billion-dollar corporation, when it comes to their public face, a lot of that comes from people like Ben and David. It does. I mean, look, they spend company like this. I'm sure you see them all the time. I know we do. Amazing commercials on TV about this and that and all this stuff. They spend a lot of money in terrestrial advertising. So what do people do? They go running to YouTube to check out videos of the ships. I would say 75, maybe even 85% of people do that. And so I absolutely understand your point 100%. You're not right or wrong. It's just an opinion. But I feel that when the 75 to 85% see a commercial on TV or even on the internet somewhere and go run into YouTube and find this stuff, it's going to sway their mind and it's going to sway their opinion. It really is. Danny says, problem solved. Google glasses. Mamie Radar says, the headsets are a great addition. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Balcony cam, I see Ben and David. We'll put balcony cam back on for you. There you go. There you go. and the 21-hour road trip. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, every once in a while, Emily, when we're driving someplace crazy, we turn the camera on. Which, by the way, remember when we were streaming, we were talking about this like 12-hour window or whatever. That video is. Oh, thank you for the thumbs up. Sorry, that's not the applause. That's the wrong button. That video is no longer available to watch. YouTube won't hold on to, I guess, any video over a certain length of time. And that seems to be somewhere around the 12-hour mark. So if we're going to ever do a live stream while we're driving, it's not going to be 21 hours. We're going to do it for 11 hours and stop it and then start it again. Because, yeah, it was actually getting some decent views. I couldn't believe it. So, and then gone. I was like, what happened? And I went to watch it myself. Gone. Yeah. I mean, it's still on my little sort of back office area, but if you click on it, it's no longer public. It's just gone. I don't know. Yeah, nighttime ship footage. Yeah. I think that was from our balcony.
Yep.
From
the seashore.
Hal's brother, Sal.
Yep.
Or is it Pal? No,
it was Sal.
Green screen with
Pal's
the permanent
been
studio.
In a box.
Look, Danny, if we had a permanent studio, we would definitely have a green screen area for sure.
Yeah.
You two have some pizza before you leave. Oh no, we're having pizza before we leave. It's happening, Emily.
We have pizza almost every day when we're on MSC.
Oh yeah, no, but she's talking here.
Oh,
here.
She says,
gotcha. Have some pizza before you leave New York.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's happening.
Absolutely.
Danny says, have you been to the farm where they grow the wings and the buffaloes? No, we haven't. We're on the lookout for that, and we'll let you know if we find it. You can let that go. Pizza road trip. Yes, pizza road trip. You were given erroneous information. 128,000 now. Okay. Ben 1970 in Europe. Yeah, they've been around since the 70s. They're not new to cruising.
No, not at all.
Even in the luxury area, but they need to handle the situation better. There was just no need. In our opinion. Again, we weren't there. We don't know the other side. We don't know what happened, but anyway. Emily says, ooh, okay, thanks for answering my GoPro question. You're welcome. We'll have to use my iPhone and iPad. There you go. Okay. Happily ever yada. Welcome to the stream. I've never seen you there before.
No, welcome.
Hello, new here. Obviously, yep. Can't believe they shut them down on filming. Yeah. Like
yeah.
Done.
Yeah, we're stunned.
And if you literally just got on here, the quick recap through us talking about things as well as a lot of our subscribers here chatting this out live, we believe that someone from the yacht club, other passengers, had made complaints about them videoing in the yacht club area, which led to what then happened. What then happened, we also believe was taken horribly out of proportion. They should have just been asked to stop videoing in the yacht club, but that's not what happened. And again, we know the rest of the story. But remember, they had already been on the ship for 4 days. They had been videoing everywhere but the yacht club area, or very little of it. Very little. In fact, I don't actually think they were in there. In the first half of their video, when they were talking about the first 4 days, I don't think there were any shots of the yacht club. So, yeah, we think it was somebody from the yacht club. Anyway, welcome to the channel. Glad to have you here.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. Exactly. I'm sorry, Danny. It's just sorry. Sorry. I'll try to do that the next time. We love the 24-hour road trip, nightlight for the alarm clock, right? Oh, my good Lord. You guys are killing me. Balcony cam on my green screen. Yeah, we would love to do that. We'd love to have the balcony cam and us sit in front of it. Next time we'd go on the ship, we'd try to actually get shots where it would actually look like we're sitting there. But there's no physical way for us to do it in our current life setup. There's literally just no way. Trust us, we've sat there and we did this and it just not gonna happen. Not in the RV.
No.
They're up to 219,000.
Okay.
Chris says, yeah, they know very well who they are, and Ben and David are not stupid. I suspect they left the ship early for the clicks, and they knew it would go viral. I'm telling you, there is more to this story. Potential.
Okay.
That I will agree with you
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
I don't feel they need viralness. Their channel does pretty well. But you never know. You never know. We're just we're not crafty like that. You know what I mean? We're just straight up in front of you. This is what it is, right? We don't use clickbait thumbnails. We don't clickbait this. We tell you like it is, right? So, happily ever Yada says, my biggest issue is how they told them that they couldn't even film just themselves with their iPhones.
I agree. That was
absolutely. And to Chris's point, as well as there had been somebody on here earlier making comments, and I'm scrolling back to find their name because I want to quote them correctly, right? We do go above and beyond here at TMC. When you start watching some of our videos, you'll understand what I mean. No one videos a ship like we video a ship. When I mean work, we are working. Where is his name? God, y'all been commenting like crazy.
I know. I love it.
It's a heavy subject, censorship,
It is,
right?
yeah.
Sir Has Ledger. Sir Has. To his point as well. And Chris. We only know that side of the story, right? Remember, they also edited out of their video the manager speaking. So we don't know how long that conversation went on. We don't know what was said. We don't know if tempers flare. We know nothing other than what Ben and David tell us, right? And so that's why I feel, based upon the evidence, based upon the experiences we've had on the cruise ship, trying ourselves to video inside the yacht club, this is simply yacht club people saying, don't video us in here. You need to stop them. And then it's gone south some kind of way.
Yeah, I
Right?
would agree.
Yep. So Danny says the searchlight is looking for Ben and David. Yeah. That was, I think, the white party that was happening that night up on top.
I think you're right.
Because when we were done streaming, we left
We
the
went
camera running and we
upstairs.
went upstairs.
Yes, I
Yeah.
believe that was it.
Yep.
They were having all kinds of fun up there.
Loved your vlogs, Yada from Icon. So obviously, Happily Ever Yada has a channel. And again, welcome to ours. We appreciate you. Hopefully you enjoyed the Icon. We haven't been on there yet. Waiting for our turn. It'll be a while. Hey, Patricia,
Yes.
welcome.
Hi, Patricia.
Basically, it all boils down to privacy and regulations. It comes down to what they considered to deem fit under how you went about going as a paying or non-paying passenger. Yeah, I don't know when you came in, but I went and read through all of MSC's legal mumbo jumbo. And there's actually nothing about video other than MSC capturing you on their CCTV stuff. And they do it for security reasons, blah, 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 blah. But there has to be, as a paying passenger, a reasonable amount of expectation about privacy. I get that, which is why we go to the extents we go when we video, most of it being at 3 o'clock in the morning when everybody is sleeping, or at least most people. However, that also being said, there also has to be understanding and expectations when you're on a ship of 6,000 people and at least 5,500 of them are going to have their phones out videoing. You're going to be captured at some point in those videos. So the only side note to any of this is we're now talking about the yacht club, which is promoted and advertised as a ship within a ship. And with the exception of having to leave the yacht club to go see a production show, you actually don't have to leave.
Yes.
They have their own restaurants. They have their own pools, hot tubs, bars. Everything you need is within the 4 or 5 floors. Each ship has a different amount of floors in the yacht club. The only difference is when you want to go to the production show. Now, mind you, you have a person from the yacht club, one of the butlers, that's what they call them, walk you down and sit you in a predetermined area, which is reserved for the yacht club members at all times.
Yep.
Right. So on this particular ship, the World Europa, the yacht club has a secondary restaurant, which is, I think, outside of the area, but at night it is specifically roped off for yacht club. Same thing happens. You get hand walked by a butler down into that specific restaurant. That is the restaurant, the Brazier,
Brasserie.
Brasier, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I didn't get the name. It's some French name that they were horribly mispronouncing as bad as I was. And that is, Lisa was commenting earlier about when they were there videoing themselves. Even though it was blurred in the back, you could see passengers back there. Now, that wasn't actually in the yacht club area, but at that time, that restaurant was deemed yacht club only.
Yeah.
Anyway, so blah, 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 blah. They were fantastic. Yada, there's Chris again. Danny Mac says, may be wrong, but it felt so right. I don't know what you're all talking about. I'm going to leave you have your little private conversation. Chris H. 2 more left for that series going on Liberty next week. Excellent. We'll have to watch you happily ever after. Bev says, sounds boring to me. Chris says, just got off the Independence a couple of weeks ago and can't wait for Icon very soon. Excellent. Danny says, at 3 a.m., do you ever hear noises from behave yourself. No, we hear nothing.
Danny, what are we going to do with you?
Yeah, you're not trying to be polite. Macrina says, by the way, my next cruise, we are wearing our newly purchased RMS Titanic hoodies.
Oh, okay.
Macrina, we booked our hotel, by the way.
Yes, we did.
We are spending the night.
Yes, we are.
On the Queen.
Yes, we are.
Anyway, so look, guys, it's a heated topic.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I would even say, a questionable conversation because we don't know both sides of the story.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality simply is that there's censorship, and when should there be? And
is that going to get carried along to the other cruise lines?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it is, our channels like ours going to disappear?
Yeah.
I mean, we're just getting going.
I know.
Could be a little disappointed if we got to stop.
Right.
Which is what upsets us the most.
Yeah.
Right? And we are about to get on another MSC ship here. I didn't tell you the dates. I told you I was going to tell you the dates. May 4th through the 18th. So we're doing the Firenze from April 25th through the 2nd. It's inaugural. Flying over to Florida and getting on the Seascape for a back-to-back. So make sure you join us live. If you've got some time and you want to come with us, you know where we're going to be.
And look for those prices to start dropping.
Yeah. Look, the prices are already really
they
great,
are.
man.
Yeah.
We have balconies on the Seascape, and they were 500. One was like 510, and the other was like, I think, 540. I mean, per person. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So and for our experiences, right? And so that was something I was going to say a while ago, and I stopped from saying it, but you know what? I'm going to say it anyway. So they have this horrible experience on the ship 3 years ago. They don't come back. They come back 3 years ago. 3 years later, have an almost, let's call it, identical, horrible experience, and off the ship they go. Now, as we already been talking about, hundreds, if not thousands of people video on their ships. So to Chris's point, is there more to this story?
That's a good question. That is a very good question. We haven't talked about that at all. But yeah, that is a very good question. Because, yeah, we've only heard their side.
And respectfully edited side, again, because he cut the guy's voice out. We don't know the conversations that actually transpired.
Nope.
I'm not calling them liars, guys. Not
at all
whatsoever. But I'm just saying, 3 years ago, they get basically told to stop videoing. They don't go on there for 3 years. They come back again, which, again, in between have been invited to come back, right? So they're not blackballed. They get on there. Essentially, same thing has happened again to the same two guys. Is it them? I don't mean, are they being picked on? Are they doing something that we just don't know about because there's nobody watching them, right? Does that make sense? Because again, we just been on the ship and there's been plenty of other people on MSC ships videoing with no problems. I don't know. What's going on?
Yeah. Very interesting.
Anybody have an opinion about that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let us know. So we're just thinking about that. Anyway, guys, we've been with you guys for a while. Thank you so much all for being here. We didn't think we were going to be on this late tonight. We thought it was going to be a rather quick conversation, but obviously it's an important conversation to have. We appreciate you being with us for this conversation.
Absolutely.
Until we see you all. Oh, there's somebody down there. Look, there's somebody on the back deck.
Oh, we got somebody.
No,
Whoops.
Oh,
no.
They cut that. That's not a smoking area. They were smoking in the non-smoking area.
Look at that.
Look at that. You all see that? I almost want to back it up now. I'm backing it up. You close.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Yep, maybe, Patricia.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, everybody. We love you all. Until we see you all the next time, be safe.